Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Q here again, Paleo Palm Long Island, MikeTheCaveman.com. Today's question is, should you trust the American Heart Association? I'm the Caveman! And the answer is... hell no. Seriously? Alright, listen, we've talked ad nauseum about the problems with the nutrition sciences. We've talked about fake news that gets reported from the studies themselves. We've talked about why the studies themselves can be problematic, given the fact that they're often epidemiological, because you can't go and lock people up in a ward like you need to do in order to do randomized controlled trials. Because people will eat what they want, regardless of what you tell them to do. An unfortunate side effect of that, people lie. Because of that, you're not always going to have the most solid data. But that's why I've been considering the fact that we've also talked about how researchers have actually been bribed by industry. In fact, we talked about how in the 60s, Harvard was bribed by the sugar industry to promote low fat. And what exactly are we talking about right now? Oh yeah, the fact that there's fake news that coconut oil isn't healthy and never has been. And where's that coming from? That's right, the American Heart Association. Why? Well, Fred Sachs, who is a Harvard-based researcher. Sounds prestigious, right? He's also the director of the program that helped to formulate the DASH diet. And wait, isn't that the one that's always #1 on the US News and World Reports? Oh yeah, more fake news. Yes, it is in fact always the best. I wonder why. Maybe because the #1 researcher at Harvard who invented the diet goes and promotes it and then gets kickbacks from the sponsors who also sponsor him. What do I mean by that? Well, who are some of the sponsors of the American Heart Association? Nobody important. You know, just Cheerios, Aramac, Subway, and Bayer. Now, what is Bayer related to? I can't remember. I know they're a pharmaceutical company, right? They make the aspirin stuff. But didn't we talk about something else they did recently? Oh yeah, back in 2016, in September. It still hasn't gone through completely yet. But they went and made a deal that was agreed upon to buy Monsanto. Now, we recently talked about Monsanto in our Bill Nye takedown, right? So, Bayer, who now owns Monsanto, also is a sponsor of the American Heart Association, which Dr. Fred Sachs is, a leading member and the one who is the spokesperson for in all these interviews about coconut oil. I wonder if what he believes might be influenced. Nah, that could never happen. So, putting that all together, we have researchers belonging to an organization funded by an industry who has already shown themselves willing to distort the research for their financial gain. And in the process, we have researchers who don't want to admit that maybe we screwed up and maybe we either lied or just kind of fudged the numbers a little bit. Either way, whether it is malicious or just ignorant, the fact of the matter is, the saturated fat idea, the lipid hypothesis, is done. It's over. In the last 20 years, there have been more than 17 different meta-analyses, full reviews of all the literature, and all of them were done specifically on the role of saturated fat and the development of heart disease, and none of them found a link. So what does that say? Fred, it's time to let it go. The lipid hypothesis is just not that into you. I'm sorry. All right? I'm going to give you guys one last tip. Super simple. Eat real food. Coconut oil, of course, is something that is real. So stop listening to the garbage. Don't go and have margarine like Fred's DASH diet tells you to do. Go eat some coconut oil, maybe a little butter. You'll be all right. So your biggest takeaways are that absolutely not. The American Heart Association is beholden to corporate interests and a broken hypothesis that has been thoroughly debunked. The fact of the matter is, we are moving in the wrong direction by continually focusing on that saturated fat. Stop believing fake news. USA Today's headline was, coconut oil isn't healthy. It was never healthy. Yeah, kind of like how you guys were never news, but whatever. So USA Today, US News and World Reports, all that horse shit, let it go. But if you want to see the original research that it's based upon, it was a recommendation from the American Heart Association. I'll put a link down in the description for that. I'll also put links up here to 2 playlists. One on my issues with the politics of nutrition science, where you can get some more in-depth analysis on some of the topics I covered very, very briefly today. as well as my playlist on coconut oil, so you can get more in depth about why that's garbage. And I'll even go in and throw a bonus. I'll throw a third playlist up there for cholesterol, because we've talked about that a whole bunch, and that's really at the heart of this and why that's nonsense. So if you really want an in-depth, thorough breakdown of this, watch all videos in those 3 playlists and you'll be ready to rock, because those articles are fake news. Period. So that being said, guys, hope this helped you out. You know what to do. Like and subscribe down below. Share it with your friends. Head over to Instagram and Twitter and follow me at Mike the Caveman, over on Facebook at Paleo Power on Long Island, and of course over at MikeTheCaveman.com. That being said, have a wonderful rest of your day. Stop listening to old men who don't want to admit they've been killing you for the last 40 years. That's all I gotta say about it. I'll see you tomorrow. And the answer is, yeah, possibly. Now, let's do it. I'm not